everyone, welcome to a brand new Dwarf Fortress. I'm starting on Dwarf Fortress 40.13. I'm using the starter pack 40.13 R4. So I haven't really changed any of the default settings except for I turned liquid depth on. I believe it's off by default in this release of the DFSP. I prefer to see the numbers. I guess it doesn't really matter, but it comes in handy sometimes. Sound is off, of course, intro movie's off. I think all these are actually what they were at for defaults. I'm using Space Fox, which is the default right now. It's probably my favorite, although Phoebus is fairly good. But anyway, let's get started. I have started a brand new world. I just finished generating the world, so I'm going to start a Dwarf Fortress in it. A few things while I'm going, just while this update is happening and everything like that. I do have a number of quick fort blueprints set up. I will see if I can find a site that will fit them. The blueprints I have kind of require about 13 Z levels from sort of ground level to the top of the mountain, if you will. I do like to get very specific sort of stuff going. I want high savagery, I want medium evil, I don't like undead very much. That's a little bit too brutal for me. I don't care about those too much. Do want fluxstone. I don't want an aquifer, although I don't really care. And I don't really care about clay that much. Alright, so I'll see if I can find a decent embark here, hopefully. Yeah, as I was saying, I do, I'm a little specific. I know a lot of people when they're playing Dwarf Fortress, they just kind of grow their fortress very organically. I don't as much. Over the years, I've been playing for a long time on and off. And over the years, I've sort of built out a fairly set pattern that I follow. Oh, that's not what I want to change. So I'll have to see if I can find a place that fits the pattern that I like. Dwarves, elves, goblins. Okay, this kind of area looks like it might be good. So what I prefer to have, I'm looking at the elevation readout here, as you can probably see. What I prefer to have is sort of a higher area to the north of the area I'm in and a lower area to the south. This place would be good if I can... Whoops. If I can move up one. Right? Yeah, that elevation's probably okay. But I don't know if these biomes are any good. I do have trees in that biome, so that's okay. I do have sand, clay, some soil, shallow metal, deep metal, flux stone, shallow metals and deep metals. So that should be good. I might make this wider because I want to be able to get... I don't know if I love a 4x4. It starts to get well, this is a 4x3, but it starts to get pretty laggy when I've got 200 dwarves and everything, even on my machine. But I do want a fair bit of soil. I'm hopefully somewhere in the middle there I can build my tower the way I like to have it. So I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if this embark is going to give me what I want. But as you can see, I've got goblins. I like to have goblins for neighbors. I like to when they send things after me for me to kill. It adds some excitement. So I'll give this a try. This looks like it's possibly a good place to start. So let's see what happens. Or it won't let me embark. Why? No, apparently I had caps lock on and didn't notice, and that doesn't work. So we're going with a 4x3. I'm going to start with my min-max and bark, although some of the food won't be available, which is fairly common. So I've got 2 miners. I split them up because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. But I start with 2 miners, a carpenter, a mason, a mechanic, a grower, and an administrator. If you look over here, he's an appraiser. So that's for selling things. I'm not going to actually name my fortress, but I do like to go through a couple random and try and find one that's decent. I find a lot of the randoms that it comes up with I don't really care for. There's a lot of mirrored in there I find, and I don't know. It doesn't sound dwarf fortressy enough to me. Your mine. Sounds kind of funny. Rimshanks. So hopefully I can find something decent here in the first couple. Roasted arch. That sounds kind of funny. Labor razor. And syrup shields. Yes, that I don't even know how you do that. Make a shield out of syrup. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds crazy to me. But I do the same usually with the group. Although the group's a little bit easier, I don't expect much out of it. I just don't want to be like the lofty cloisters or something. That just it doesn't do it for me. Kindle crypts. That would have been good actually. I should have kept that. Allied steels. It's okay. I'm not loving any of these. Steel sneaked, wound lashes. Anyway, as I was saying before, while I go through this, I do kind of have a very specific setup that I tend to follow. Bloodshields. That's good enough. We'll go with that. And then my group will be the mountainous lanterns, the dangerous ores. Some of these are pretty good. I can't remember any of the amazing ones, but I have seen a few pretty hilarious ones as I go. The Rock of Guarding. Sure, sounds good. Alright, let's embark. Oh, no, 65 points. Right, forgot. Items. Okay, so I bring 3 dogs and 3 cats, 2 female and 1 male of each. Sort of enables the breeding and everything. Of course, the dogs are good for building hunting and war dogs, which I find are a little bit handy. They end up sort of taking some of the damage instead of my military. And then cats are just good for dealing with vermin. You'll see here I also bring sheep, 4 ewes and 2 rams. Again, more females because it helps kickstart the breeding process. They're good for shearing to get a little bit of early cloth, as well as butchering for some early leather. Not right away, of course, because it takes a little while for the breeding to get going. But that's generally what I do, and I tend to like that. Everything else in here is pretty standard. The standard 3 tools that you're going to need for the build that I've got. 20 of all the alcohols, all the seeds, a little bit of food. One thing that's possibly a little bit unique is I bring some bituminous coal. Depending on the embark, I may not have any sort of near the surface. Although the last time I did this, actually, there was tons all over the place, so I felt kind of silly for bringing it. But it's cheap, so you can sort of get some coal early on and get a little bit of... you spend less time bootstrapping the metal industry if you need to get some stuff going, which comes in handy early, to try and get your first early military off the ground, if you can. And then the rest is food. I also bring some cloth and some silk cloth, some fiber cloth and silk cloth, just in case I get strange moods. The silk especially is just for the strange moods. It never fails that I get a strange mood for one of those two if I don't have it. So, I don't really want to lose a guy early on. I haven't had one super early, but Another thing you used to be able to do, I don't know if it still works, but I don't bother with it anymore, is just bring one of a whole bunch of different kinds of food, because I guess you get a different container for each one. Again, I don't know if that still works, but I don't bother doing it anymore. I'm just going to save that build as it is and override it. So here, let's go. Did I caps lock again? No, I didn't. Why are you not embarking? Oh, you are. You're just being slow. Okay. So this will take a second. It always does. Lags my computer out for whatever reason. But I'm going to spend some time here. I'll actually probably spend almost this whole first episode, come to think of it, just sort of setting up my initial embark before I actually unpause. Like I said, I have a very specific sort of setup that I like to follow, and hopefully the terrain will allow for that. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. We got, yes, this terrain is looking good. I think this terrain is perfect, actually, except for that water right there in the middle, but that's okay. I can work around that. So maybe not quite enough floors up. It's only 7 instead of the 13 that my plans are built around. 13. It doesn't have to be 13, of course. I mean that it's unnecessary to be that big, but this is perfect. This is what I'm going to go with. Okay, so my general fortress shape. 1, 2, 3 is about like this. Oops. So as you can see, I'm going to intercept this water, and that's going to be annoying. I'm just going to avoid the water for now, and a little bit later on, I'll drain the water out to probably just off the south, off the tower completely. But that'll be the general shape of my fortress. And I don't think I launched. So you should be able to see that. Yeah, you can. Okay, good. I don't think I launched Quick Fort. I'm going to want Dwarf Therapist as well. So you won't see Therapist just now, but that's fine. I'm not going to use it just now. Okay, so these are all of my patterns. I have a stairwell pattern, which I've experimented with a bunch of different stairwell designs over the years, over the times that I've been playing this, and this is sort of the one that I've been trying lately. I don't know if it's great or not. It seems to work for me. There are a few little oddities with how it works. It looks like my macro stuff is a little slow, but that's okay. It's just 22 floors deep. It doesn't really need to be that deep, but it is right now. So if you look carefully at it, you'll notice here that these two go up, this one goes down, this bottom one is the same, and this one is opposite. And if I go up a floor, of course, everything is just reversed. So what I've found in the past is by having, what I used to do is the entire 3x3 core here would just be up-down stairs, all the way up and all the way down through the fortress. But in the very rare case that I actually get enemies into my fortress near the stairs, I found that sometimes dwarves, when they're in a panic, they will fall down the stairs, and up-down stairs do not stop falling, so the dwarves would fall all the way to the bottom of my stairwell, which potentially could go 30, 40, 50 Z levels deep, depending on the mining and stuff like that. And often they'd either break one or both wrists, or in fact sometimes just kill themselves, which I don't really want. It's fairly rare, but I don't really want dwarves dying to death. So what I've done now is I've built this slightly bigger one. Again, it used to only be 3x3, but now it's kind of this 5x5 setup, although the corners are missing to make it fit in with the layout. Actually, I've set this up a little bit wrong, but that's okay. This is more accurately the layout that I use. So anyway, the other idea in the long run, I'm not there yet, of course, but eventually what will happen, what I want to do, I haven't gotten there yet with this new design that I'm working on. But what I eventually want to do is actually make the very center of this whole thing a waterfall, and then I'm going to make the center 3x3, except for the core center group, be grates, so that the water continues to fall and doesn't drain out the sides or anything like that. And then I just have this nice waterfall in the middle of my base, which seems like a good idea to me. So basic layout, and this is the basic layout that I use. So that'll build that out. Oh, geez, I forgot that overwrites my stairs, which is unfortunate. I actually need to fix that one of these days so that it doesn't, because I don't actually want it to build, like, pretend the stairs were still here. I actually don't want it to build this set, to dig this set either. I want to avoid that. That's actually the pattern that I want it to have, so that it doesn't actually intercept my stairs, and then that way I can prevent it from, it won't actually dig that stuff until I connect it myself manually. Most of my patterns are sort of set up that way, or that's how they should be set up. They're not, because I haven't fixed them. So let's look here. So the top floor here will be farms. This floor will be well, here I'm gonna set up the labels. I have a thing for labeling everything as well. It's kind of ridiculous, but I actually find it's really helpful. Floor labels. So, as I said, that's farm. This will be kitchens. This is food storage. This will probably be bedrooms. It's hard to say because things aren't quite right. So this is going to go too deep. I haven't fixed my pattern. So this is going to go too deep. It's going to make too many bedroom levels. Before it gets into the other things here, we're starting to get into the entry level, and then it gets into other stuff. Here, I'm going to actually cancel it. I have an idea. Here, let me try something. Bear with me a second while I work with this. I want all of you to go away. I need 13 from the entrance. Oh, I didn't center my guy properly. So this will, I want this to be the entrance floor, the main sort of the main floor outside. This is sort of the bottom floor. This is where the river will be on this level as well, or one level down, I guess, technically, but okay, so I'm going to start from here. I'm going to start my blueprint. And of course, a bunch of it's not going to actually do anything because it's up in the sky, but that's okay. It should set the other levels properly. And then what I'm actually going to do is erase the top couple levels. I'm going to start this whole template again at the top, the actual physical top of the mountain, and then it'll put these labels on again, but I'll stop it partway through so that it labels things correctly. This probably all sounds a little bit insane if you're not familiar with working with QuickFort, but I'm a little, maybe neurotic is the right word about stuff. So way down at the bottom I have crypts. I have misc here, which is where I put, I think I generally put, I'm not even sure what I put on misc anymore. I can't remember off the top of my head. Textile ends up being like cloth and leather industry, as well as material storage. Metal is metal, obviously, as well as the furnaces and smelters. Stone is stone, masons, stuff like that, stone storage. Wood is carpenters and wood storage. Storage is furniture storage. Crafts is the craft stores, and usually gem crafter shows up in there. Living quarters is just, that's where I'm going to put my dormitory as well as my dining hall, and I think I usually put the hospital on that floor as well, and a few other things. Entry, of course, is the entry level. This is where my main tunnel will come in. The trade depot will be here, although not part of the core tower. And then a bunch of bedrooms above that, except, of course, there's only going to be 3 floors of bedrooms, which probably means that yeah, it'll just be like the noble bedrooms. And so I'm going to get, whoops, I did the wrong thing. And then I will be putting normal bedrooms underground. The crypts won't actually be where I marked them. This is not going to be bedrooms either. Yeah, where I had crypts underground, whatever that was, like 6 or 7 Z levels down. That won't be. It'll be another couple layers of bedrooms, and then some crypts, and then kind of like a buffer between my fortress and the mines that I'm going to be digging eventually. So I build another special room that's customized with stairwells and weird places and a bunch of traps and stuff like that. So nothing can come up into my fortress. But we'll get there in a long time. That's going to take a lot of work to get that far. So as I said before, this will be just farms. Here, let me get these labels back on. Then I need to cancel this at just the right moment, which is now. Perfect. Okay, so labels on. Farms, kitchens, food storage, and the layouts that they have are fine. I need to remove the center stairwell, or the center pieces. Oh, hold on. I gotta fix this. I gotta fix a couple things. Don't want anything on bedroom floor. Bedrooms. Oops, that's wrong. I want royal bedroom. Make sure that's in the center. It is. So this is the royal bedroom level. There's 6 sets of bedrooms. The 2 on the sides are the 4 on the sides are smaller. The 2 in the middle are huge. So this ends up being like the administrator, the chief medical dwarf. I think the guard captain needs one. I can't remember if I ever get a use for the 4th. One of them ends up being the king when they come, the regent, or king or queen. And the other one is the Baron, I think, because I think you can have a king, queen, and a Baron at the same time. So that's sort of how those are set up. Again, these are connected to when they shouldn't be. I don't actually have the stairwell in place right now, but I will have it shortly, and it's going to connect, and I don't want it to. And then these are normal bedrooms, which look like this. So I like to give my dwarves a fairly good bedroom. It's definitely more space than I need to give them, but I don't care. I give them a bed and a chest and a cabinet.
Keep hallucinating that I'm hearing Mir's voice. Can't be a good thing.
Sorry, sounds like I've got TeamSpeak open, and they may be hearing me occasionally. Oh, that's not what I want. Yes, I have TeamSpeak
Channel
open.
switched.
I'm going to move myself out of that channel so you don't hear that anymore. I apologize for that. That was just a friend of mine who, like I said, I must be hitting push to talk, and some of my stream is going through to them. But anyway, so those are my bedrooms. You know, some of the ones in the middle aren't quite the normal size, but that's fine. Oh, there's only one layer of normal bedrooms, but that's fine. This is entry level, which will be the basic layout. Whoops. See, yeah, the way I've set that up, it overwrites things by accident. And all of these are the basic layout. So the floors that are underground, I don't end up worrying about following this tower pattern as much. The stuff above ground, I will eventually dig away the rock outside of the core pattern. I usually leave a 3 thick wall on the outside as well of the rooms. This room is not going to be that. That room is going to be bedrooms. Okay, where is my center? So, there was only one natural floor up top. one bedroom floor. Not natural. I mean not normal, I guess is what I mean. Not nobles. So I end up needing 8 floors of bedrooms. Although honestly, I could make, because these are underground, I can make the bedroom floors really thick. In fact, that is what I'm going to do. So this is going to be noble bedrooms. This is going to be nothing. I'm not going to call this bedrooms even. I don't know what I'm going to put here, but it might just be nothing. And then I think down here, this is going to be bedroom floor, and it's just going to be huge. It'll just be one floor of massive bedrooms. This will be one floor of massive crypts. There's no real reason for those. Whoops, I've done the wrong thing. There's no real reason for those in particular to have them on a wide floor. Sorry, on multiple levels. It's pretty low traffic, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, I'm going to do the wrong thing here if I'm not careful. So I don't want that to be bedrooms. Get my center point. Go down. Pick crypts. Do I have a thing? I don't have a layout for crypts, so that I'm going to have to figure out on my own. So that's fine. The crypts, I do kind of have a pretty standard layout that I use for crypts. I just don't have it set up for that right now. So that, I'm just cleaning these edges off so that my stairwells don't get intercepted. I don't want to do that. Alright. So, that's all ready now. I can put my stairwell back in. This stairwell pattern that I'm using does have a couple little oddities with it. I find that for whatever reason the dwarves don't like to dig up. Sometimes I have to, after it's all designated and the dwarves have started to dig, sometimes I have to actually remove some of the designations on the top level and then put them back in to get the dwarves to dig up, which I don't really know why, but it doesn't really matter. It's not that big a deal. And I'm going to remove this. The stairwell goes 22 deep, but I don't want it that far, so I'm going to remove it from there for now, just so they don't go too deep when I build. So, all right, so that is all ready, or more or less anyway. I don't need that on the side. So now what I need to worry about is this area. And this is where my trade depot will be, is in this little room. And then over here is just whatever, ends up being more storage and stuff like that. And then I want this hallway. Oh, that goes right off the map, actually. Well, that's interesting. Barely any river, but that's all the river I need. Okay, so good. So this area above, up in here, like above the trade depot, this will all be traps. I'm actually going to get some traps down in here as well. I will probably remove all of them, or a big chunk of the mountain south of here will get removed, and it will be just open space that stuff can go into. My military and things will probably be in there, and a lot of this stone that's in front of the tower will get removed. But we'll get there later. That's a long process to get that built out. So let's assume that we're going to build like that. So that will be my entrance. Yeah, this will be my real entrance, which will actually probably be full of all kinds of traps and things like that. Whereas this is going to be the wagon entrance. So if you're not familiar with this trick, it's a good one to have. What you do is you build out a thing like this. So what ends up happening is, here we've got this really short path that comes through. But this is all full of traps, so wagons won't come through it to your trade depot. So you build this other path that's really long, that the wagons will follow to your trade depot. And then you have access to your trade depot, but because it's this longer path, the enemies, if you want, goblins and things like that, won't follow it. Sorry, I can't think and designate at the same time, apparently. Yeah, so goblins won't follow it, which is great. I just want to set this up, sorry. And then, you know, you have this nice long, extra long path, because it messes with how pathfinding works. And then they don't follow it. So you have this open hole that's I don't know if safe is quite the right word, but basically safe. Like you have an entrance that doesn't have any traps in it, but it's okay. They won't really go through it. So I'm going to dig that out way later. I'm just planning things out for now. This I do want to dig out relatively quickly. I'm going to remove this whole bottom edge of it and this whole outside edge of it. So I'm leaving too wide because I want both of my mining dwarves to be doing stuff. But really I want them to be getting up into the fortress proper fairly quickly, because of course I want them to build things like the rooms for farms and all that kind of stuff. In fact, the farms are the first thing that I'm going to get to. So let's see, do I have... Oh, good. So I do have a bunch of trees up on the surface, so that's all good as well. I'm going to designate some trees to be chopped for now, because I am going to need wood fairly quickly. I'm going to designate some plants to be gathered, because some of my dwarves, until I get the rooms sort of set up for them, some of my dwarves are not going to have anything to do. Pardon me, they're not going to have anything to do, like the farmer, for example. I'm going to build a food depot, or a storage spot right here, because what is it? Stockpile. Sorry, geez, I can't believe I don't remember the name of stockpile. Anyway, a food stockpile right here, which all the stuff that all the berries that they're picking and stuff, they'll bring here, all the plants and whatnot, the surface plants. The last thing I want to do. You'll notice I have a whole bunch of custom professions with numbers at the front. These are set up for a specific reason that will become obvious in a second here. We'll make you a carpenter. Whoops, we'll make you a... Where are you, Mason? You should be right here somewhere. Mason, you are my mechanic. Come on, mechanic. You guys will be my miners. You will be my grower. Where are you, grower? Oh, farmer. Sorry, I don't call them growers. And you are my administrator. So once I commit that, you'll see it sorts in a nice order. I've got things all set up carefully. The zeros are kind of they're all nobles. I don't expect them to do a lot. Like for the most part, these guys are all going to be idle, and that's fine. The 10s are all of the people who do work but don't really make anything. You know, he's making tunnels. They're not making products. Same with the animal trainer. They don't actually make anything. They just do work. The 20s is the food industry. The 30s is the product industry. So they're making cloth. They're making beds. They're making doors and statues and things. And that's all stuff that's more or less for the fortress, as well as the metalsmiths. The 40 series is all the crafting stuff. And that's as far as I've gotten right now. But things like beeswax guys would probably end up in 40, even though it's sort of for the fortress, but not. And then 80 is hauler and 90 is soldier. I'll end up with like 91 will be my archers, and 92 will be whatever my second squad or third squad or whatever. But I don't need to worry about that now. One other thing that's really nice about this, you'll see a little bit later, is when migrant waves come in, they will all sort to the bottom. and it makes it really easy to figure out who's a fresh migrant, and then I assign them all usually to hauler, and then assign them to new things as they need to be. So for now, everybody except my miners are going to go and do all this work. I mean, really all they're probably going to do is plant gathering. There's not a lot of hauling that needs to be done right now because I don't have anything other than food stockpiles set up. But, whoops. So these guys are all going to gather plants. And like I said, they're gonna be gathering all those plants up at the beginning. So I'll have a bit of a food set up to start with, because I didn't really come with a lot of food. Do I need to cook? Yeah, I don't really want them cooking any of that alcohol right now. I don't want you to cook plumbed helmets. So I set a few things up here as well, just some defaults. All right. So this is it. This is the basic layout and start. We're a little over half an hour now, so I'm going to cut this episode here, and I'm going to start a second episode. I like to keep them all to about 30 minutes. On the next go-around, I'm going to get the farm going and start digging out some of the main rooms for raw material storage and things like the carpenter's workshop and the mason's workshop. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again shortly.